Yeah, it's just there's so many weird aspects of anime that I'm like, I'm very invested in the culture, but not the part where the people are involved. I'm involved in the part that is completely devoid of the people, you know, like the part where like you watch it and like ingest the culture. Like I don't usually sit with other people and watch anime. I usually do it alone or read manga by myself. It's like that's the thing I do. So I don't really often interact with other people while doing a thing, so I don't see that the community is shit. So
yeah.
So it is,
well, yeah, that's the experience of like, it's the difference between like interacting with like the Undertale or Homestuck community versus just like reading or playing the thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, because you can just play Undertale and never deal with other shit. Or like what's like with Stephanie on the Pokemon series, like she can just play Pokemon in a vacuum without any of the weird exposure to all the like kind of irritating controversies that are supposedly happening that are so important.
I mean,
like you can just not engage in the community at all.
Entire franchises at stake.
Where is this dead? Oh, that's probably the dead tree actually. There we go.
Like, I don't even think Pokemon will recover from being on console.
I just see people freaking out so much about Pokemon.
I've seen some articles that are really fucking disingenuous by being like, Pokemon Sword and Shield don't bring anything to the table. I'm like, I think this is the first time I've ever been in like a semi-open world Pokemon game where I can literally play raid battles with other people online. That's a lot of mechanics, and I'm cooking to feed my camp and
Meanwhile,
myself.
it's like, how much have any of the other Pokemon games brought to the table?
Yeah, I was like,
because honestly,
what did like
for a franchise that's had so much,
besides a garbage story about like genocide via Pokemon, like
for a franchise that had so many sequels, I'm pretty astonished by how much it feels like nothing's actually really changed in the time since I played Silver and Yellow.
I wonder if it's because if they try changing shit, people get really upset.
Yeah.
I mean that, or maybe because they're making a big leap to console and they want to reassure people that there is still like quality in the game.
Like what I noticed with a lot of stuff is that the toxic elements or like the commonly held negative beliefs that often permeate certain circles of certain communities and so on, they kind of just don't spread. Like they're not, or I guess accurately, they do spread. They're not naturally forming like reactions in some cases. Like it's oftentimes like people, like
the average consumer won't have that opinion.
Well, it's like
which is,
there's an element of like online gaming discourse is like a rage machine where every single day or week there's just, what's the new thing we're going to be mad about? And there's always something, no matter what. There is absolutely always a thing to be mad about. And so that permeates all discussions of this, of like whatever particular rage ball thing is happening locally becomes the local discourse for that rage ball at any given time. And it just kind of happens endlessly forever. And if you're isolated from those things and you're not part of that discourse, oftentimes those criticisms that are seemingly so important just don't fucking come up. And it goes to like a bunch of the criticisms I see about like Sword and Shield. Like when I talk to people who just play video games and just happen to play Sword and Shield, like they don't tend to naturally bring up the same criticisms that like the online people will like almost say in lockstep with each other, like verbatim, like they're all quoting each other about the reasons why Sword and Shield are bad. Like there's this element, and I noticed that too with like you can definitely notice which corner of the discourse someone comes from. If like one of their complaints about The Last Jedi is that like during the fight they had a dagger and the dagger vanished, it got edited out. Oh, it's a continuity error. And it's like, oh, cool. So this person watches. So it's like that person watches Mahler videos. Great. It's like you can just recreate the trajectory of like which part of the area people are like which part of the discourse people are like parroting at you essentially.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't been exposed to this level of fucking stupid, you know Last Jedi? I'm sure you watched that at least once by now, right?
Yeah, I've seen Last Jedi.
Remember the red fight? The big red room fight? Kylo Ren and Rey fight back to back against like the Royal Guard of the Sith or something. It's a huge fight. It's like the main fight of the entire movie.
Nope.
Throne room fight was like Snoke's throne room.
The... Oh,
So all the red guards, each one has an exotic weapon, and they're all fighting them at once.
Sorry, I only remember the Luke Skywalker ghost image thing, like the very end of the movie. I remember that. I don't remember anything else because it was like
I was gonna say
noise blur.
I was gonna say you didn't retain shit somehow.
It's
like literally didn't
it's really
even
hard
retain
to give a shit
the main
when the story
fight.
is just not something I care about.
Like, well, anyway, at one point, one of the guards has 2 knives, and you see it drop out of his hand, and then it should have dropped down to somewhere else or whatever, but instead it just vanishes. But
oh shit! Someone kicked it off set. My bad.
What's the thing is, like, people only noticed this after that. Nobody noticed this, as I could tell, in theaters. They only noticed it when they were like
it's only fucking Ghost Boat from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we noticed that in theaters. It was only when people like frame by frame pausing the movie like fucking lunatics, because that's how movie critique works now. Jesus. And then when they went frame by frame, they were able to notice that one weapon vanishes during one very, very short shot of a continuous, big, complicated fight scene with a whole bunch of people in it. And it's
Isn't there like a fuck ton of issues in the original Star Wars trilogy that like it's just clear that they didn't have the budget?
Oh yeah, it's like that time when Red Letter Media's commentary pointed out that like there's that one part of A New Hope where like
the very end,
where like the door, well, yeah, there's the very end part, but there's also the part where like a door is closing and they do fast motion on the screen, so Luke like gets jittery for a second there because he's moving it fast forward as the door is closing, because they wanted to make the door closing look better, but it made him look worse. Yeah, there's all sorts of dumb shit, but that's like obviously not what people care about those movies. But people have such a fucking people have such a fucking hate ball for Last Jedi that they'll like pour over every fucking pixel of the movie to find new reasons to hate it. And so you can find like which fucking internet community they've like been exposed to the discourse of from when they quote really specific, irritating, pointless complaints like that one. And it's like, oh, you're from those assholes that fucking do like 12-hour reviews of 90-minute things and pause frame by frame by frame to scrutinize every little pixel for a new thing to complain about, because that's how art works. It's like, I
mean,
I know more than I wish I knew.
There's a weird feedback loop that these people get for doing that, where
they grow an audience by doing it, so that just incentivizes them to do it more, which means that they have to hate those particular things and so on. It's just
fucking hate. I think like that's another big issue of like why change is so almost impossible these days. It feels like is because people are known for a thing, and some people just want to continue being known, and it's like, at what fucking cost?
Red Letter Media kind of fell into that trap a little bit, because they were so. I
honestly haven't watched them in a while.
They got so much of their audience specifically from hating the Star Wars prequels. So the narrative is supposed to be that Star Wars is bad now, and so every single thing they ever do is always bad. So they always have to like come up with reasons why the new thing is bad forever. So like, just as a matter of fact, like even though none of the new stuff is anywhere near as bad as the old stuff, generally speaking, like they really have to bring themselves to criticize The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi and Solo and Rogue One and so on, and they always have to have a negative reaction, because he's got to fire up, like they have the first negative reaction that when they do the first review, which will get like a million views, and then he needs to like fire up that editor machine to do the Plinkett review about why the new Star Wars is bad, because that's like their income is derived from being in this presupposed stance of make reviews about how bad Star Wars is. Like that's their bread and butter. But like we like you and I watched it, and we were so fucking like disappointed because we watched the review of Force Awakens, and it was like it was such a like a milk. It was such a like. He was so desperate for things to criticize about Force Awakens because it wasn't Phantom Menace. Like he couldn't spend like a fucking 45 minutes discussing the first 5 minutes of the movie like he did in Phantom Menace, because it's not that kind of train wreck. So like it kind of just awkwardly expanded outwards to complaining about fan theories and diversity, and we're like, I don't
yeah,
like,
I
we're
do
just like,
remember that video
I don't
being
like I don't like new Plinkett.
Yeah.
Like we sat down, we're like, oh fuck, a new Plinker review's out. Like I happened to be at your house to record.
Thanks.
Like probably I don't think we started Zero Escape yet, but we were like, I think it was around the era we were recording like Alone in the Dark and stuff like that, and we're like, oh fuck, a new Plinker review, let's go out and get some food, come back, and we're gonna watch this, because it was like a red letter day, like, oh my god, there's a new a red letter day. It's like, there's a new Plinker review, because like that was always the hypest shit, like the Indiana Jones review, the Star Wars reviews, the Star Trek reviews, Avatar, like all that shit.
I mean, there's bunch
so
of
many
really
good
shit in there.
But then it's like, oh, I have to criticize the Star Wars movies now, and like
I'm definitely not like in the
so
camp
disappoining. They're so disappointing. Like I'm more disappointed in his reviews than I am in the movies.
That's, I
like,
mean,
he unironically complained. He unironically complained in Last Jedi that the lady has purple hair, and because she hates men. And I'm like, oh no. Like I actually used to watch those videos over and over again, and I haven't watched either of those ones a second time.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, I think that's another part that's tough.
It's like you gotta keep doing your formula forever.
Yeah, and I sometimes feel like that opinion isn't actually too rooted in, like, you know, it's not like too much of a conspiracy theory. I think like there's reasonable doubt to believe that he genuinely feels that way, which is not great. Like,
it's not great, no.
I have a lot of complaints about the Star Wars movies.
There's a lot of little moments where you're watching like half in the bag, and it's just little weird things leak out, and it's like, that's not great. Why are you complaining about people getting triggered or whatever in the middle of this unrelated review?
I really don't like their.
There's also just like
it's almost very toe dippy. Like they'll dip their toes just very bit into and see if like what the general kickback is from that comment. It almost feels like
that stuff's often disappointing. I don't know. It's also like they have such a boner for complaining about Last Jedi that it just leaks into every other video they make, and I'm like,
that's also true. Yeah,
the game came out a year and a half. The movie came out a year and a half ago. Like, fucking move on.
Yeah, I don't really.
You made your review. It wasn't very compelling, but fine. I like all of your other stuff. I can look past the fact that they're weirdly invested in hating all the new Star Wars movies, even though their reviews don't really raise. Like they don't raise
a hot take.
They can't raise the points, and like the points they raise are just so weak compared to the ones that they made before for the prequels and everything. Yeah. It's just disappointing. But I'm like, fine, I'll look past that. I love watching. I like Half in the Bag, and I love the best of the worst. And so I'm like, so I just want to see those things, and then they just were like, but in the middle of this other thing, blah blah blah, General Holdo, Last Jedi, General Holdo, and I'm like, why though? Move on, just move on. I'm so worried. I'm so worried about the next movie though.
Why?
Because I actually liked Last Jedi.
Too bad.
I wasn't invested. Like Force Awakens came out and it was just another fucking Marvel movie. It's like, that was fine. I guess Star Wars will be fine now, was what I said when Force Awakens came out. I'm like, yeah, this was fine. It's gonna be fine, just like all the Marvel movies. I'll watch it once and probably never again. But then Last Jedi came out and I'm like, oh fuck. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a different level from the rest. And then I'm like, oh man, what are they gonna do with this? And then like, we're gonna give it back to J.J. Abrams. I'm like, no, that's like the only wrong answer. Please, no. J.J. Abrams has never made a good thing.
That's not true. He made that Cloverfield movie once, and boy, howdy did it work.
Cloverfield is my favorite thing he's ever made.
Yeah, well, that's everyone's favorite thing he ever made, because most people hate everything else he's made.
I don't think that's quite true.
What
I
they
think
like like Star Trek, which has made the lens flare meme, and they like
I think more
Star
people
Wars,
like Star Trek and Star Wars and Lost than Cloverfield necessarily.
Lost
but
is
I do think
has...
Cloverfield is the best thing that's ever made.
Yeah.
But
Lost is tough because
but
Lost wasn't good
even that's a legacy. He
time.
complicates by weirdly grabbing other indie movie projects and just stamping Cloverfield onto them, which is a weird model.
Well, that's just because J.J. Abrams is really good at, you know, like he runs a company, and that company needs to be profitable. So you find scripts that are garbage and be like, well, we can fix this with a couple of really important casting and a name change. Done.
There was a pretty funny Patrick Willems video though that was like trying to analyze J.J. Abrams' entire career, just to try to answer the question of like, what happens if he has to finish something? Because that's the thing, is he never finishes it. He just fires off things and starts them, from like the Star Trek reboot to the Star Wars reboot to Fringe and Lost and Cloverfield and all these other things. Like, he starts projects and then leaves other people to finish them. But now he does have to finish something, because he has to finish the trilogy of Star Wars.
It's on trilogy.
It is a trilogy. It is a trilogy. There's going to be more Star Wars, but this is the trilogy for these characters. So he has to actually finish a story for once, which is an interesting experiment. But it's just that, like, I really,
is it like a test of Disney? Is Disney testing him to be like, okay, can you finish anything, Abrams? Because if so, we'll give you shit to start, but we can't keep doing this. Like,
I'm interested in the idea of him having to finish something for once, because
I have zero hope that he'll do anything good with it.
Do you have this quest, by the way?
No, I don't. I don't know what we're doing.
Oh, you're not eligible. All right. Well, you're getting grinding experience, I guess. This is a quest for getting blood from these guys, but I guess you didn't.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm totally on board.
It's a quest called Enraged Lizard Blood.
So, can we agree that Transformer movies until Bumblebee were shallow? I mean, you think Bumblebee's not shallow? Okay, but whatever. Transformer movies are not shallow. They are.
I can't comment on Bumblebee. I didn't watch it because it's fucking crazy hot take. Don't care about Transformers and never have.
I watched it because I do like Transformers.
I've never been able to empathize with the weird robot characters.
And boy, does Bumblebee.
Well, that's not true. I liked Beast Wars, but that was when they were animals.
Wow, Keith. Maybe it was also because there were no fucking humans involved, because it was Beast Wars.
That is true. But I watched Beast. So I watched Beast Wars for years, not knowing it was Transformers.
What? It says it in the fucking name.
No, I mean like
specifically song is like Beast Wars.
Yeah, that's not Transformers. It's Beast Wars.
And then the end it goes like Transformers.
Beast Wars. The thing is, I didn't know Transformers wasn't a property. So if the word Transformers ever came up, I didn't know that it meant something. You know what I mean? Like there was Autobots and Decepticons, I guess, but literally my first exposure to Transformers was Beast Wars, and then when they finished the Beast Wars arc, and like it's like now they're on Cybertron and their trucks or whatever, I'm like, I don't like this anymore, and I stopped. Like I immediately stopped. Like for me, fucking Optimus Prime is a gorilla. He's not a semi-truck. He's a gorilla.
Jesus Christ. I mean, he was a good gorilla, but damn, that is not his default.
But that is absolutely...
that's just Prime,
that's absolutely...
yes.
That's absolutely what I associate...
that's just Prime.
That's absolutely what I associate Optimus Prime with, as being a fucking gorilla. So,
and the fucking sassy Velociraptor, my favorite.
It never felt like Waspinator terrorize. So when I see Transformers, I don't associate with that. So I don't associate that with being the same thing as Beast Wars. Like even being the same characters, I don't link them really. They had a sequel to
Beast Wars, by the way, Beast Wars 2, which they had an ostrich. Optimus Prime became an ostrich, and it was
what the fuck?
It's great.
But yeah, I never. So I don't have any.
Wait, how far did you watch? Wait, sorry, how far did you watch in Beast Wars?
I watched Beast Wars until they went to Cybertron. And Optimus Prime was a gorilla jumping around on Cybertron, and stuff was chasing him and stuff. And then I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I think it might have transitioned into like being a normal Transformers show. Like I think they made a sequel series that was itself a That was
Because there
itself.
was a
Like it was,
Beast,
they were all machines now, and they were all trucks and all that stuff. But it was the same 3D animation. But I was like, I don't like this. I didn't like that.
Dude, don't even get me started on Waspinator. I watched that. I have all the DVD box sets for
I'm the one who made the voice, didn't I? Did you make it?
No, I did the Waspinator voice.
You did it too?
Did you not hear mine?
I did. I lost track. I thought only I did it. So I was confused. But so like I don't have nostalgia.
Wait, did you not hear? Is that going through?
No, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh.
Like
yeah,
I don't.
Beast Machines. That's what it was.
How do you find a Thunderhawk? Listen.
That was the sequel. Or not.
Like, why is this guy killing all the Thunderhawks? I need to find a Thunderhawk. I have no nostalgia for.
Yeah, Beast Machines was a sequel. I remember this. This was
I have no nostalgia for Transformers, and the movies were bad, so I just stopped watching them. And so by the time they're like, no, we're back with fucking Bumblebee, and maybe it's actually good this time or whatever, I'm like, but I don't.
Man, you missed out on the best review. I wish we watched the last Transform movies together.
I'm just
or
like,
the last one.
I'm just like, I don't care. So like, even if Bumblebee's a good Transformers movie, I'm like, but I don't care about the premise. I don't want this cast of creatures to be the stars of a show or a movie.
See, the problem I always have
so
with
I just don't want to watch it.
Yeah, the problem I have with Transformer movies are usually because the main focus is the human having a plot arc, but the robots never get any kind of like redemption, or not redemption, but they don't have any kind of like character building. And I like Bumblebee tried really hard, but the end result was like, yeah, whatever. Now he can just kick ass again.
It's
like,
also really hard for me to. So
I mean,
it's also really hard for me to like separate from the knowledge that like this all started as a toy commercial.
Well, it's never stopped being a toy commercial.
So it's like the big emotional movie that I was so formulative for people's childhoods. Like, oh my god, I cried. They killed Optimus. Was like, it was all a cynical move to take one toy line off the shelves and sell the new toys on the shelves by being, here's your cool replacement for Optimus who's lame and no one likes him.
Prime.
Yeah,
he's a hot rod and he has
that didn't
flames.
take that didn't take, did it? But that whole movie was just a fucking cynical move to do that, and it's like, I'm like, fuck this entire. I'm just like, fuck this whole property. I don't want any of this.
Let me ask you a question. How do you think Optimus Prime returned to the series? What is your best guess on how he came back?
Did he burst from the still beating chest of Rodimus Prime, like a fucking like a chest burster?
No.
Then fucking Transformers is a show for cowards.
What ended up happening was his entire brain stored on a floppy disk, and they put that floppy disk in a new body and put the Allspark back in him, and then he became alive again. But 1.44 megabytes is all it takes to store your consciousness. I just want that to be the focal point here.
That's not how the data is lined up in the past. I mean, well, I would believe it only takes a couple of megabytes to store the entire consciousness of fucking Transformers characters. There's not much. There's not much.
It's basically just a database of names because that's all they say 24/7.
There's not much to these people. There's not a whole lot to these characters.
Yeah, but it's funny too, because actually the one thing I like about Beast Wars is Beast Wars makes an offhand reference to Transformers, because in Beast Wars they literally find the Transformers Ark ship that crash landed on Earth to start the Transformers series. So like technically it's so fucking, I hate the plot of Beast Wars, but like
but it loves
so
you.
It's bad. It's real bad. Like,
I don't remember the plot
because
I saw it when I was 6. I was watching that along with like Captain Planet and Rico's Roughnecks.
So they took the concept of aliens building pyramids and they put a pyramid that the Transformers built, or the Primes built. And in that pyramid was a god face, basically, which was like the creators of the Transformers. And he's like, what the fuck? What are you doing on Earth? And it's like, well, we're kind of fighting a war on Cybertron. It's like, yeah, nah, fuck that shit. I'm just gonna blow up Earth. And it's like, what? Wait, what? So yeah, we had to stop.
We could have watched
space from blowing up the Earth.
I suppose we could have watched last night as a group again, although Joe's gone. But like
Yeah.
it was an adventure when we all went to the theater together to watch Transformers 4, and I was like, it was a fucking fever dream. Steve Jobs stand-in was turning like Cybertron metal into My Little Pony, and fucking a weird child bot
genes into people.
Yeah, weird child bot that so speaks in Ebonics and all that. It was all like, he infected him with his evil chromosomes, and I'm like, what? This is the story.
It got better.
Fucking,
you missed out on the best part.
Some
Keith.
asshole for some reason wrote, like, for some reason Michael Bay put this in his movie where, like, the guy dating Mark Wahlberg's daughter is weirdly hyper aware of fucking statutory rape laws, and I'm like, why is this in the movie's story?
Well, because
fuck
people
is wrong
were
with you?
really upset with him last time. Potential. Whoa! What is fucking happening?
A weird,
What's
creepy thing to commit into your story.
Well, because a lot of people were upset about the whole Megan Fox thing, and she was supposed to be really young, but also not because it was college age. But
then there was the weird scene where like the daughter was getting kidnapped by the giant net that she could easily escape through because it was so open and porous.
Yeah, because it was a transformer net, not a fucking human
and
net.
she's like, I can't do anything. I guess I got kidnapped. And also, yeah, there's some real gross stuff going on there where like Megan Fox is in the first 2 movies, and then the 3rd movie was like, no, that bitch is gone now. Fuck her. It's like,
yeah,
it's like they basically that's basically what they said. Like the actual script was like, fuck her. It's like, aren't we supposed to be invested in these characters? Because apparently we're supposed to now be like, yeah, fuck that bitch to Megan Fox. And it's like, she was one of the main characters for 2 movies and then disappears off camera, and we're just shitting on her now. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie series?
I mean, do you want to be spoiled? Are you ever going to watch the next Transformer?
I've heard that like Bumblebee dropkicks Hitler through a dinosaur or some shit.
What the fuck? What?
I just heard 12 things. It's like, it's the Knights of the
what?
Round Table, and it's Hitler, and it's like riding a dinosaur while shooting a machine. No, that's Jurassic World. And then
yeah, I was like,
it's just a bunch of time travel shit about, or not time travel shit. It's all about how like the Transformers were like there for all of those historic events, and so it's a bunch of Transformers fighting in historic scenes or whatever or something.
But do you know why they're there?
I don't care.
Because
I can't tell you
Earth is a transformer, Keith.
So
it's
Omicron?
Unicron is
my
Earth.
bad. I can't tell you the plots of any of the Transformers movies I've seen.
I mean, that's...
I don't know what any of their plots were at all.
They kind of blend together after some point.
I have no idea what the plot is besides Megatron bad. Stop Megatron.
I mean, that is the main focus of these series,
no
yes.
idea. I have absolutely no idea what the plot is at all. Like it's just like, I don't know. What were they doing? I don't know. There's one where they fought in a desert for 3 hours. Like the entire film was in the desert, and then like I think Shia LaBeouf was Jesus and then came back to life. Like he went into a cave. Oh. He died and went into a cave and then came back to life after 7 days.
I don't want to talk about it. I got real upset by watching that because it was... That was the only thing that I was like, okay, this is my hard limit, was that fucking Shia LaBeouf put the fucking goddamn...
That was one of the only movies I've ever... Like, that was when I first... Oh, I can't share this quest. Hope you have it.
He put the fucking Matrix of Leadership in his fucking sock. His nasty fucking gym sock. And carried it across the desert and just sprinkled it on Optimus Prime, and it fucking brought him back to life. I was like,
wait, they brought him back. They brought him back to life in the 2nd movie.
Yeah, he died.
Didn't they also bring him back in the 3rd movie?
Yeah, he died.
Why is this enemy gray?
I don't know.
Is this enemy gray for you too? Who's getting credit for the skill?
Maybe it's just such a low level it doesn't mean anything.
No, it's level 22. It's my level. It's higher than you.
I don't know.
Why does this enemy have gray credit? Who tagged it? I don't see anyone.
I
what the fuck? No, all I know that was one of the
full reboot.
The second.
That's alarming.
From what I heard, they were hedging their bets, or they simultaneously wrote it where it could be a sequel, prequel, or whatever, or it could be a reboot, because they wanted to hedge their bets, because they wanted to open themselves up to the possibility of rebooting. But if it wasn't accepted well as being a reboot, then they could just be like, yeah, that was just one of the movies. But the
kid didn't have to die to use the leadership dust. He had to like It was some stupid shit where he didn't have to die. He ended up almost dying because they were in the middle of like an Iraqi desert bombing. Because I don't know why there's fucking America politics in the middle of a Transformers movie, but sure.
But that was one of the first action movies I can think of where I was struggling to stay awake during the action scenes. Because
you can't pay attention. It's all just noise.
It's like a 2.5 hour movie where the entire like second half of the movie is just non-stop desert combat with very little context for even what they're fighting for or what the movie's about at that point. And it went on.
He doesn't die a lot. That's not the point. The point is he stays around a lot. You want to buy the toy.
It just went on for so long that I had very little context or emotion or feelings, and I was just numbing until I was dying and passing out.
Yeah, I mean that's how you watch a Michael Bay movie.
Like the next time I felt that was during Man of Steel.
God, why are there so many goddamn?
Man of Steel just made me dead inside, and I'm not even a Superman fan. But holy fuck, that was a terrible Superman movie.
There are a lot of these.
You're getting destroyed. You should stop getting destroyed. It's bad for you.
Well, I'm trying to like kill these. It's these swarm things that are killing me.
Boom! That'll take him out.
Give myself some buffs.
I'm Optimus Prime and I'm here to die.
Dies like one time in each series. I mean, yeah, because a new version of him comes out. It's like a new Prime. There's like 7 primes.
What is he? Ichigo? He has to get reinvented to be half everything.
No, it's just the way Prime works.
No, they
is
just
stupid.
they just need to roll out a new Prime toy.
Yeah, so they have like Optimus Prime, they have Optimus Maximus Prime, they have Rodimus Maximus Prime, they have fucking everything Prime. There's a Prime for everybody, and it's fine. It's okay. I mean, he is Robot Jesus. Optimus Prime dies for all Transformer sins. That's like basically how it works.
A terrible Superman movie, but the better Dragon Ball live action movie. The better Dragon Ball live action movie is fucking Sucker Punch. That movie is full of scenes where a girl duels a giant mecha, like 20-foot tall samurai robot, and they're hitting each other with swords, and she's like doing like, well, specifically the part where she goes rocketing back while still keeping her feet planted, and it makes a giant long crater along the ground as she gets pushed back and stuff and all that shit.
That's just anime. That's Dragon Ball.
That's better fucking Dragon Ball than Super fucking Man of Steel. Jesus Christ. That grim, fucking miserable film. Oh no, I'm gonna have to compromise my morals. This is very sad. Oh, damn.
I have to compromise my morals to literally stop a genocidal maniac from my home planet.
Zod is shooting lasers out of his eyes, and he's gonna hurt this family, and I'm holding his head, and I'm strong enough to apparently break his neck, therefore meaning I have complete control over his neck, the thing that controls which direction his head faces. Ah, man, the only way to stop him from shooting this family and killing them is to break his neck. Obviously, I can't just, like, point it somewhere else or even hold it still while the family gets off their asses and goes away. I guess I had to compromise myself to fucking I'm gonna kill even though I'm Superman. Wait, what? We never fucking established that Superman doesn't kill in this universe? Whoops, I guess the scene was actually pointless and it wasn't even a betrayal of my morals because this movie's incompetent. Let's give Zack Snyder 12 more movies.
He needs it.
The fucking climax of the movie is supposed to be about how, oh no, Superman has to kill. He doesn't kill, but they never established that he doesn't kill. In fact, he looks like he's killing people a lot.
Superman,
and he's so he's such a grimdark, creepy alien man who hates humanity in that film that, like, how am I supposed to think he doesn't want to kill people and that's against his code? So like the climax doesn't even work on that level, let alone all the logistics of its stupid ass movie.
Trigun actually had a really, like, it had such a hard beginning just to get to the end, and the end was like the thing that everybody wanted but could not stick around to watch. Like, I feel like most people...
the show with the red guy with blonde hair?
Yes. Yeah, have you finished that show?
No, all I know is what he looks like.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the show's about. I just recognize the name and character design.
I literally cannot tell you without spoiling the show. because the show is just like Cowboy Bebop in that it's insanely fucking aggravatingly long, and there's only like 4 episodes that matter.
Is Cowboy Bebop long? I thought it was a short-lived series.
25 episodes where only 3 episodes matter. Like, it's fucking incredibly long.
So Cowboy Bebop is like Firefly.
Yeah, there's only you basically need to watch the first episode.
For Firefly, you spend the whole first season,
episode and the last episode.
You basically spend all of season 1 of Firefly hanging out with the cast and kind of learning who they are. Then there's just the one episode where the betrayal happens, and then they ran out of episodes because they got canceled. So the only other episode that matters is the movie.
Did the family die?
Like for Firefly, you can practically just watch the first episode, then the betrayal episode, then the movie.
Oh. And
the rest of it's just like a series of hangouts.
Yeah, I mean that's basically how Cowboy Bebop, how Trigun, how a lot of or Samurai Champloo is that way. There's a lot of, well, mostly the guy who keeps making Cowboy Bebop makes shit that way.
I mean, I feel like it might have more to do with that back then movies, shows were more likely to be episodic, as in like, or they were supposed to be, what do you call it? Is it episodic when it's standalone episodes? Yeah.
Yes.
Like the idea is you just watch random episodes and they were kind of in like their own. I mean,
that's
like
that's why
it was like a cul-de-sac.
That's why Cowboy Bebop was so good, is because it was episodic, and that wasn't very common. Usually you had really grandiose animes because that's how you made money, is selling box set DVDs. So you needed people to be interested in following a story because that's how you made money. And that's, I mean, it's fine. I think what Cowboy Bebop and subsequent other animes like it did is important. It really helped the genre, but it's not a fucking holy grail of anime. Like, people treat Cowboy Bebop like it's some pristine Mona Lisa, and it's like, no, it just did a unique thing at the time, and that's it. It's not inherently, there's nothing about it that's like that's groundbreaking storytelling. It follows basic fucking cues.
How many eggs do you have?
I'm not a part of this quest.
Oh, right, I forgot. You don't have this quest at all.
Eggs. Is that what you're talking about? Because I'm not getting any
Silithid eggs.
Nope, I'm not part of this quest.
Well,
that's fine.
Getting kill experience, I guess.
But
there's a good series by Lindsay Ellis that's called The Whole Plate. That's just an entire thing that's film studies through the guise of fucking Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Oh, God.
Which is a thing. And
yeah, there's not. I wouldn't say
there's a good video that goes into the idea of the way that Megan Fox is framed in those movies, based on how and then that versus how she's written in those movies. It's a really weird thing where if you just listen to what she's saying and what she's doing in the movies, you'll be shocked by what kind of character she is, because the way she's shot in those movies is like, look at her butt, she sprawled over a car, look at her butt. So like every action and line she has is like a completely different character, and so as a result, you like, there's just this outcome where like people will just, if you have people describe Megan Fox's character, they say something that's completely at odds with what her actual character is, and it's completely to blame with how the camera treats her throughout the movies. Because the things she says and does throughout those movies, like she's actually like, she's self-sufficient, she's clever, she has a bunch of information to provide and like useful skills throughout the thing. She's a mechanic, like she has all these things that she can do, but all the camera cares about is like how she's dressed and how well they can frame her butt and stuff like that. And since, you know, film is a visual storytelling medium, pick up the quest.
I can't talk to him, shapeshifted.
It's impossible.
Give me. Ancestors, I'll watch over you. Yeah, they're.
I was like, I've got to tell her to do it. There you go. But yeah, it's interesting to look into those aspects of like finding out that like, wow, this element's completely at odds with the other element of this thing, and it's like, oh, it's just the fucking, because it's a visual storytelling, and the people that were directing and filming the film didn't care about her character, but the writers did. It leads to a weird gap where like people don't really, what sticks with people isn't what her character is or does or says. It's only how she's framed.
Yeah. Also, I wouldn't say Vash Stampede is Sasuke like. I would say he's more Inuyasha, but less whiny. Inuyasha's all about like a preteen boy who doesn't understand that like patience is a fucking virtue. God damn.
We're getting some good experience considering we're not rested this session.
I started the session rested, but
yeah, well, yeah, you're always rested whenever you log on.
Yeah.
But normally we have a whole week of rest, but we only played this like 3 days ago because we were playing delayed last week.
We're not that too far apart. Like I'm 21, you're 22, so we're back.
Yep, I'm about to 23 though. I'm up there. Yeah, you'll have to do your druid quest.
Yeah, I need to go do that.
It'll be exciting. You'll wait for a zeppelin and walk a lot. Then click on something.
So excited.
Spooky invisible boy. Spooky invisible boy, get him.
I do have a quest to kill this person.
Oh, you do?
Razor main backstabber.
You mean a stalker?
No, that's the quest. Kill one razor main backstabber.
Oh yeah, I think he's over here somewhere. Here's a war frenzy.
Wait, I need to get a war shield off of this guy.
Oh, it's the backstabber's his weapon.
Ah.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me. A backstabber for me is a person. So I'm like, what do you mean backstabber? But then I saw this guy and he's marked for the quest and he's a war frenzy. I'm like, none of those items are a war frenzy. But yeah, you get a unique drop from each one apparently. All right.
But you only need one.
Yeah. It might be a pretty annoying drop rate though.
Great.
We'll see.
Yep, I didn't get
We shall see.
Oh, and I need a wand? Come on.
Yep.
Fucking, this is a 24. Oh my god.
Just fight all these dudes. We'll be here for
Why
hours.
does that spell not last?
Hours.
Oh, it does. Oh no, they have a totem too. Cease and desist.
Let him. My weird niche lately is manga that doesn't have an anime adaptation.
That's
or
lot.
Or never got a full one or a good one.
I would recommend.
A lot of the time, it's because the art's too good. So Junji Ito,
I would recommend
Berserk,
Komi-san. Komi-san's great.
I've got Blame.
Blame?
Yeah.
Never heard of Blame.
Blame is a manga series where I haven't started it quite yet, but as far as I can tell, it's some sort of like post-apocalypse situation where I think humanity might be gone.
It's pronounced Blam.
That's stupid because there's an E. They should spell things correctly.
How dare you? That's racist. Japanese people don't speak English.
Well, they shouldn't make their names English then.
But it's hip and cool and everyone likes English.
It's interesting they couldn't just speak to one person before they named their whole series after it. But yeah, it's all of humanity might be gone, and some sort of like self-replicating like robots or whatever have been like building infinitely and forever, and so like there's like some sort of massive, infinite, unreasonable structure that expands in every direction, like it's the fucking, like it might be the size of a Dyson sphere.
Okay.
Like some of it's are like Escher-like, where it's like this doesn't make sense, like MC Escher's staircases, but then other ones are just completely inhospitable to mankind or travel or traversal. It's just noise. It's just architecture as noise, basically.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures. I can see the.
It's an interesting idea.
It gives me like Star Wars vibes.
And there's occasional hints of like
a lot of
encountering horrors and stuff like that. But that's the specific thing. It's the things I'm looking into. They're not only just manga that don't have anime adaptations because their art's too detailed. They're also all horror mangas.
Horror is a very, very tough genre to get anime for.
So it's all Junji Ito and Blam.
Turns out most of the people watching anime are
Berserk.
children of very young ages.
Which, can I just mention for a second how much of a rad motherfucker Nosferatu Zod is?
Yeah.
Because Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. He's fucking awesome.
Just fucking shows up and is this fucking like wild card in the middle of the series. Dude, that otherwise has no other.
Zod is amazing.
Like Zod is introduced when nothing else in the entire series resembles Zod. So you're like, no, what the fuck?
That's why Zod's amazing.
Yeah.
Because he shows up right before you even understand. There's an almost ridiculous mythological element to the series.
I just finished the part where he throws the sword.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm at that part.
Zod is so good.
I've hit the part where the 1 year prophecy is declared.
Oh, for
I think it was that Guts isolated himself in the forest, and then like a weird Reaper thing like prophesized the end of the world essentially to him. You are fucking melting, by the way. This guy's 4 levels higher than you.
He is.
This is a problem.
I'm keeping the aggro on him as best as I can.
Real fucking risky. I don't know, I'm not gonna use any mana so I can heal you. That'll hopefully regenerate enough for me to heal you.
Yeah, he'll die.
There he goes, he's running, we win.
Coward.
This Rajuzada is so fucking cool.
He's cool, and it's not a spoiler because I'm not going to say anything like particular, but he is a long-term character, so don't like.
That is the eerie thing, is I vaguely know that a big thing's going to happen, and I'm hanging out with this Band of the Hawk, and I'm just generally like, I'm just constantly like, I have no idea which characters will have any future, if any, and I'm just like, there's just a looming thing over the entire manga as a result.
I feel really bad because that's the toughest part about Berserk, is like the moment someone tells me, I've never read it, I have to like in my mind try to express to them why they should read Berserk without saying anything about Berserk, because the moment everything changes is a really important.
But also Berserk's layout is inherently weird.
Yes.
So like, which also makes it harder for you to think back on, but like you find, like, Griffith is a horrible person before you meet Griffith. Because like
also Griffith.
Well, yeah, because Griffith is perpetually presented as being so fucking off-putting. Like weird, perfect, pretty character that keeps making terrifying faces here and there and so on, and owns people, but also like
owns people.
Yeah, there's a lot of those elements. But it's
there's a lot of not fun elements.
But it's easy to get sucked up in the way that everybody loves him and stuff like that, and they all idolize him.
That's the point.
But before you ever saw that, you saw him do horrible things in the future, and then it goes back into the past when Guts meets him, and I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
All these scenes are very uncomfortable because I've already seen horrible things in the first chapters before you went back in time. Because the whole layout of the story is odd.
Yeah. And it doesn't get any better. Actually, I just watched a really good essay video about how Berserk distorts the hero's journey, and it's a really good read because it shows that it's taking a really tired and overdone trope and saying like, yeah, but what if you can't continue? Like, what if there is no end to a journey? And that's kind of what Berserk feels like right now, because it's constantly like, well, we've kind of done the journey, right? And it's like, no, we never actually completed the quest. We still have to live, and we still have to deal with this shit. Well, that's the thing. The entire quest is dealing with Griffith. That's the entire thing, is like Guts and Griffith. You tell that from day one. You know, both of them have this weird like Naruto Sasuke energy going on, and there's like that typical anime like, I don't even know it's not like camaraderie or brothership. It's like this weird obsessive thing. Like, it's in every anime where there's like always a character. There's the main character, and then there's like this other character that they're fucking obsessed with.
It's the hate fuck rivals.
Yes, basically. And so like, that's the plot, is just this hate fuck relationship. And like other things keep happening in the story, and like
you did not want to aggro that.
Yeah, I did not want to do that. That's bad. And obviously it's like there are little side stories where characters are growing. You're learning about people. Like Band of the Hawk, you're learning more about Casca. You're learning about I always forget his name. The fucking the young one. There's like the one that really idolizes Griffith, and he's like really young and following him.
There's like a couple of them, so it's hard to tell.
Oh, I think I can't remember. But there's other characters, and you're learning more about them. But you know that, like, yeah. So the Band of Hawk. Wait. So you said you just encountered Zod?
I've encountered Zod a few times.
Oh, okay. So
first, I mean, first there's the encounter with Zod, and where he just comes out of fucking nowhere, and you're like, oh, yeah, this is a problem. And this problem sure keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
But then there's the like weird like Zod helping Guts thing with like the the impossibly long sword throw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? Well, there he is again. What the fuck is your motivation? He's just kind of weirdly spying on this whole process and like trying to guide it.
And that's the thing is, like, so little things like that keep happening in the story, but it's never the end, you know? Like, it's never the conclusion, even though a lot of them feel like it's enough for Guts to go home. Like, it's enough for you to go like, all right, Guts, you could probably go home now, you know? And he's like, nope, it's not enough. And you're like, God, okay, damn.
It's never enough.
But, you know, things never get better in Berserk's world, which is like why it's so compelling. It's like life never, like, you can tell, even like Band of Hawk, everything's going well, but something is just never enough. And it's usually Griffith is always like, it's not what I want, or I'm still trying to get what is the castle? Like, he keeps talking about like, I want my own kingdom or something. Didn't he keep talking about like a dream he had like as a young kid where he's walking down a stone path to a castle?
I don't know if he's necessarily there yet. He's more like
talked about that dream.
He definitely has ambition of some sort, but he's vague about it.
Oh, I thought he said that. I thought that was his introduction to Guts, was telling him.
It might have been. I read the first volume a while ago.
Okay, because I could have sworn his introduction to Guts was telling him like, I'm like, this is my. There's definitely just
some sort of ongoing thing about he has some sort of weird aspirations for power that he's like weirdly determined for, like,
yeah,
to the point where it must be just some kind of ends. And it feels like the implication, of course, is that the ends are what's suggested in the preview of the ending, or preview of the later time, where he's like a weird monster and like all this weird shit's happening. Like in
monster.
Because there's a preview where all the weird shit's happening in like in an alternate dimension hellscape shit. And you're like, the fuck does this mean?
It's so frustrating. I love the most is the beginning part leading up to that specific part in the manga, but I also hate everything before that, because so much happens in, like, the moment that happens, the story just takes. It just starts going in this like marathon run, and you're like trying to keep up. But before then, it's really hard because it feels like nothing's happening. And it's hard to like see other people. It's hard to hear other people go through that because you're.
What messes with me is I hit the part where like there was a weird king that seemed weirdly lecherous with his daughter, and there was a weird little giant-headed goblin man that was like a seer that like interacted with Griffith, and like I thought those were the people. I had to double check, and I was wrong because I thought those people were the people from the intro.
No,
I thought it was the same little goblin man from the intro and the same lecherous king and his daughter, because it's like it's so weirdly one-to-one that I'm like, why did they do the same characters again? I was confused by that part, but they just weirdly repeated that through line. Die.
Berserk's it's a very tough series to talk about when both parties aren't at the same spot. Because because Berserk is one of those, it's definitely one of those that is heavy on surprise. Like, there's a lot of impact that comes from narrative subversion, and it's really hard to talk about that with someone if you are so far ahead of the plot, because you just you just want to talk about things that you know that are just spoilers, and you can't do that.
Where is this quest?
Meanwhile,
weapons of choice, betrayal from within. I still need the backstabber.
I like how there's a spin-off series to this Blam manga you're talking about called Blam Academy, where all the kids go to school. Fucking goddamn it!
Anime can't help itself, can it?
God, I hate the go to school shit.
And then they have a beach arc where they have an entire arc on the beach. I need to find invisible people to fight. This is a problem.
Nothing makes me laugh more than like the Evangelion. We're in high school now, and it's like, you fucking just so disconnected from the entire plot of this show. Is
I guess it's just really popular whenever something's on. Whenever someone's in school, I guess. It's so relatable, am I right?
It is very relatable.
Yeah.
Given that kids spend like 90% of their life until a certain point, usually at school. So
agony. Whoa.
Ooh.
Can either of us use daggers?
No, I can't.
Well, whoever wins gets to sell it at the auction house. I won. That's its primary value. It's just for money then. That's probably worth some money. We got two blue
things in WoW.
We got two blues today. What the fuck?
We're doing pretty good.
Unfortunately, we need to find fucking invisible people to hunt. Where are they?
Also, we're not getting these. I got the wand. I just don't have. I need the war shield, and I need.
We need these assholes to drop us the dagger. Wait, is the stalker even what drops the dagger? What drops the dagger?
Yeah, the backstabbers.
When I highlight him, it doesn't show me a tooltip that he drops something.
That's not good.
No, it's not
the same quest, so it doesn't matter. If you have to get the war shield and the wand, you also have to get the backstabber. Oh, I need to go to bed. Shit.
Yeah, we're going late.
Yeah.
Whoops. We did it again, guys. Oh, shucks. Oh shit, here they come. Here comes the weird goober monster. Get him.
I don't need your wand, though. Go away.
Too late. He's here.
It's weird. I have another friend of mine who's in Japan currently right now, who's visiting Japan for the first time, and so I'm like seeing all these pictures.
So you're gonna lose him forever to Japan.
Yeah, so,
like all the rest.
My first instinct is like, oh well, he's probably gonna be very bewitched and want to go live there. But two,
yeah, that seems to be the through line. I should go to Japan and then never talk to you again.
It's pretty good consistency.
That's rough.
The hardest part has been like because like me and Kel are watching Mandalorian together, and so it's just a fucking pain in the ass.
Do you live watch it together? Like sync it up?
Like I download it and then I watch it when I've downloaded it, and he watches it whenever his time zone allows him to do that.
And you discuss or whatever.
Yeah, and then we have to like coordinate a time where basically he's just getting off of work and I'm like getting ready to go to bed. And then we can talk for like a solid hour where our timeline or where our times align, and it's just fucking aggravating because it's like I want to keep talking about this thing, but it's also 2 a.m. now. Like
I'm going to die of
it's like
of no sleep death.
Yeah,
Help.
And it's on and to be honest, it's like it's not like there's not that much to talk about per episode. It's kind of it's very slow.
I haven't watched any of it.
So
it's another streaming service. I haven't even watched Dark Crystal yet.
That's more about a fear than
but let's head back.
Yeah,
let's just head back. You should probably hearth and get ready to log because it's just late. I'm gonna go run to Camp Tarajo.
Can't do it while shapeshifting.
Because in Camp Tarajo I have one quest to turn in. Then I have one in Crossroads. But yeah, it's late. But no, there's just so many shows being made on so many services, and it's like, right now I just watched Jojo Rabbit, and I want to watch
Jojo Rabbit.
It's limited release theater movies right now. I just watched Jojo Rabbit, and I want to watch Lighthouse, and something else that I can't think of the name of right now. There's a lot of there's a handful of movies I'm trying to catch before they vanish.
Wow, the plot here is very.
You just Google Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, this is a very neck-breaking twist.
You might like it.
It's like a lonely German boy who discovers a single mother is hiding a Jewish girl in her attic. That's kind of weird. Oh, this is during Nazi Germany. Oh, yeah.
So it's Taika Waititi. He's the guy who directed What We Do in the Shadows and Thor Ragnarok. So you might like this movie because you liked that. You liked Thor 3.
Yeah, Ragnarok was fun.
It's that guy.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson in it.
He made a movie.
Wait, he's in it himself, and he plays Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
I'm not okay with that one. That was actually
weird. The first reference I had to this movie was people making fun of Joker because the director of Joker was like, you can't make comedies anymore because everyone gets all offended. And then meanwhile, fucking Taika Waititi's making a movie about Hitler where he's Hitler. It's like, maybe you're just a coward, Mr. Joker guy who made the Hangover movies. Or maybe you just make bad comedies.
Also, is he... Sorry. Is he doing whiteface?
Is he doing whiteface?
How is he so pale? Wait, how is he so fucking pale? His every picture of him shows him not this ghostly pale. Is there something wrong? Is he okay? Is he normally light-skinned but just is tan in every fucking picture?
Is anyone brave enough to get mad about that? How dare you co-opt Hitler?
No, I'm just curious because like I'm looking at his picture of Hitler. I'm like, wow, you are not. That doesn't look like him. It literally doesn't look like him because it's so white. That's why I was like, wait, Oh, it decided what? Okay. Sure. That's weird. That's super weird.
About to hit level 23. Oh Jesus, we got some loot. Wow.
Maybe he's a vampire. I'm just gonna assume he
things have ramped up because earlier today remember when I had 2 silver?
Yeah.
I have 1.6 gold.
What brings you?
Wait, is it a comedy about? Okay.
Yes, it's a comedy.
For something special.
And if this sounds like a tone balancing act, it's because it is.
Yeah, it definitely
what a
looks like
trip of a movie.
This looks like it can give the wrong message very quickly.
Yeah.
Like every picture I keep seeing of this, especially on Google, is just him as Hitler jumping over a log or something and looking excited, and
yeah,
there's kids around him excited, and it's like Hitler running a youth camp doesn't sound like the best movie. like I don't know if you understood, but World War II wasn't good. Like it wasn't a good thing.
No, the movie's a lot more deft than that. Like in
I know.
In the movie, first of all, he's not Hitler. He's the kid's imaginary friend, who is Hitler. Because he's growing up in Nazi Germany, where they're told that Hitler is this incredible, compassionate, heroic, manly character that is perfect in every way. So this kid's imaginary friend is Hitler. Because in that society, like that's a fucking candidate for what your imaginary friend could be. Is that you'd be like, yeah, Hitler's his stand, yeah. It's not massively off.